We move to immigration. A federal judge in Texas has struck down a Biden administration program offering protections to undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. It would have offered a path to citizenship for spouses who've lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years. It's a 74-page decision. The judge ruling the Biden administration lacks the authority to create this initiative, which is called Keeping Families Together. Now, Ashley Azevedo joins us now. Ashley's president of American Families United, married to an undocumented immigrant, and I want to start with that. Your personal story. Your husband is from Brazil, right, and is impacted by all of this. Tell us your story first.
Yes, he is. When you meet somebody, you don't ask them their immigration background or their status or what type of documentation they have. But unfortunately, after we were married, we did consultations with attorneys and found out that the system just doesn't work the way that Americans think that it does. It's not like it is in the movies. You don't automatically get some sort of protection by marrying an American citizen. So we've been working for 12 years to get through this broken system, and we are still working at it. And it's, as you can imagine, very frustrating.
So you thought this program, so the way it timed out is that you thought this was really going to help you, and now your mind is going to, where are you at right now?
I think along with the other million Americans that are in this position, we're all just disappointed. The president should have never had to resort to executive action. This is Congress's job that they have failed to do for decades. We need to stop the fringe politics that prevents anything from actually happening in Washington, D.C., and actually start governing for all of the American people, including those in mixed status families. Because the system as it stands right now is so beyond broken in so many different ways. But the only people that can fix it are members of Congress. And we're just really hoping that we can work with them this coming session to do their job.
But the environment has changed so much, right? So this puts, talking to you and hearing about your husband, puts a human face on a story that we often talk about in much different ways. And the anger in this country, I think, is not at people like your husband. Maybe some of it is, but a lot of it is at different types of people who came here illegally. But what would you say to people who have that point of view, that have that position, who say, well, you know what, he didn't come here legally. He shouldn't be afforded the same rights. I'm sure you've heard it. How do you respond?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I live in a very red community. Some of my best friends, my family are Republicans, very conservative. I was raised conservatively. But I think the family values, the American values here, look at people in a relationship, in a marriage, who work and pay taxes and have no criminal background and have children and contribute to society. And they say, okay, you made a bad choice at one point in your life. Maybe you were, a kid, a teenager. But since you've been here, you've done a lot of really good things. The notion that there is never coming back from this and there's no way to redeem yourself is hard. I mean, no other areas in American life do we look at people with a 0% chance of ever being able to redeem themselves. And I just ask that people realize that I'm very much like every other American. My family's been here since the Revolutionary War.
Right.
Donald Trump is married to an immigrant. It is not a problem with being married to an immigrant. It is about fixing the broken system that does not work the way it's supposed to.
Well, we'll try to follow it from all sides, and that's why we wanted to have you on today. We actually talk about it in other ways as well. But thank you, Ashley, and keep us up to speed on the developments there. Now, thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.